I'm Tim Pilge, president of Beta USA. Today we're going to have our West race team manager, Brian Marock, give you a tour through our new facility.
Hey there, I'm Brian Marock with Beta USA, and today we're going to walk you through the headquarters here in Paso Robles, California. So here you are in the lobby of our building. We have a lot of different bikes from throughout the years represented here. Some of them are vintage bikes, some of them are one-off bikes. We have our very first 450 prototype hung up on the wall here. We have replica bikes. We have our very first cross trainer that came to the United States. You know, really important bikes to the history of Beta USA.
So Beta Motor started building bicycles in Italy in 1905. It is the manufacturing company that owns our company here in the US. Same family, it's family run. They started building motorcycles in the 50s, and my boss, Mr. Laco Bianchi, now runs the company and basically took it over from his father Giuseppe in the early 2000s. So it's a true to form family run business, family core values, and just wanting to build a good product.
So upstairs here we have our support staff, including our marketing, sales department, CEO. These are all vital roles in the business here at Beta USA. They don't get the attention they deserve, but they're 100% necessary employees here. So you make your way down the hall here in Beta, and we have this really great mural, and it represents the timeline of the business from its inception in 1905 through its current. Here we are almost in 2026. And one of the great things that stands out is this is a family-owned operation. It is still in the original family that started it in 1905. We're here in the studio here at Beta USA. This is what our marketing department uses to get some of those great shots that you see on the website of the motorcycles, a lot of the accessories and installation instructions that are available on betausa.com. All right, we're here in the training or classroom here at Beta USA. This is where we hold a lot of our sales seminars and our mechanical training for the dealerships. We have all these great workbenches set up with engines, all the tools necessary to take them apart so we can educate all of the dealership employees and some of their mechanics on the inner workings of the Beta USA. We also have these great model display here of what you should see at your local dealership, including motorcycle, accessories, gear, hats, jackets, shirts, hoodies, everything that you could want to represent the Beta USA brand. This room is really important to Beta because it helps educate our brand ambassadors and salespeople who are, if you will, on the front lines with the customers on a day-to-day basis. And this allows us to educate them on the company, the procedures that we go through, the business plans that we have, and to make sure that the mechanics are doing things by the book and the way that Beta is expecting of all of the people out there at our dealerships. All right, you're joining us here in the parts department at Beta USA. This is where we house all of the hard parts and accessories that come from Italy and all throughout the vendors all over the United States. This is our shipping and receiving area here. Our parts guys are working all day, 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours a day sometimes to make sure that you get all of your parts packed and shipped in a very efficient manner. These guys are doing sometimes 200 to 300 orders a day. And that's pulling from over 30,000 part numbers that we keep in stock here at the headquarters. We made our way to the service department here at Beta USA. First thing you're going to notice right away is our suspension department. This is where everything gets shipped in, torn down, whether it's you doing a BYOB on a personal bike, upgrading your suspension on a brand new bike, or the race team or supercross team getting all of their suspension done. It's all done by the same crew here at Beta USA. This is where we've got all of our finished product of shocks. We have carts specially made for all the forks. This is anywhere from race team stuff, personal BYOB, supercross, factory stuff. It's all here in the same department.
Well, when you have a race team and you're doing all the testing, we have one of the best suspension techs on the planet, and this person puts an enormous amount of time in testing. And when you're doing all that testing, you don't want it to go to waste. So you can offer that same setting that you find when you're testing to the end user, to the customer. And I think that's really important to be able to pass that on versus just using it for 6 or 7 racers. You can use it for everybody.
Hey, we're here in the race shop and service shop here at Beta USA. We got a nice new building here. It allows us to have the room, all of it, for our service and race team to share some of it. We've got several people in here right now working on bikes, anything from demo pods, brand new units, maybe they're testing and fitting accessories. We've got Supercross bikes being built, getting ready to test. We do it all here in-house at Beta USA. And behind me here, you'll notice we have the engine room. Go ahead and follow me. We'll take a peek in here. We've got our guys hard at work right now. Everything that goes through this department is going to be touched by either Sean or Austin, our engine department guys here. And that's going to be all the warranty department stuff, all of the race team engines. Everything is built here in-house by these really qualified mechanics. So follow me over here. After these guys are done testing the engines, we'll throw them on the engine stand and the dyno sometimes, which we have set up right over here. Of course, you got to exhaust everything. You can't be working in fumes, so that's why you're going to see the hose here. We got a custom built engine stand so we can take brand new engines, run them through their paces, make sure that they're broken in correctly before they get shipped in, before they get boxed up and shipped out to the dealer or installed in a race bike. We have the dyno over here where we can test engine combinations, fuel mapping, different accessories, things like that. We've got a dynamic crank balancer that's going to allow us to basically get the best harmonics out of the engine possible for that least amount of vibration and best power delivery. We've got everything you need here to do full factory work.
Well, we have a dyno room for two reasons. One, we do mapping for our race team bikes, and then we also have to do some mapping for our customer bikes as well, for our ECUs. Every engine that we rebuild, we have to test run, whether it's on this engine stand or on the dyno. It gives us not all the information we need for racing, because obviously the rider feeling is a big part of it. You may have a really good setting on the dynamometer that you think is great. We have Brian White, who is the person that's in charge. He's our crew chief that's in charge of all the dyno work. And you may have the perfect engine combination on the dyno, but the rider doesn't prefer it and wants it changed a certain way. So the dyno gives you the ability to gauge those changes. And it's very important to come up with the right combination that the rider needs.
So if you notice behind me here, we got a bunch of boxes, we got a bunch of engines on the wall. A lot of these are warranty jobs that maybe we've already fulfilled, or race team motors that are waiting to be built. All of these boxes that you see here on these shelves are motors that are ready to go out to the customer, so that if you do happen to have one of those rare issues where you have a motor problem, we can get you taken care of here at Beta USA. All right, so we're back out here under the floor of the race team and service shop. Again, you have this really big rack of engines here, ready to go in race bikes, ready to go for demo pods, ready to go out for warranty. All of these have gone through the gauntlet of being torn apart, vapor blasted, rebuilt with brand new components, gaskets, bearings, seals, everything, so that these are top-notch, factory-built engines ready to install on bikes. Well,
as you know, when you're selling a performance product, you have to go racing. So we take pride that we do everything in-house. Our dyno, our ECU testing, our race shop work is all done in-house here, because our guys basically have the knowledge. We learn as we go on some projects we have to do, but it's a fantastic place. We have all the technology we need to help the race team grow, and we grow it carefully. We're the underdog in racing, and we know that, especially in Supercross, going against the big companies that have been doing it for 30, 40 years. You know, we've been doing it for 2 years, so we're really we're okay with that. It's going to take us a little time to find our way, and we're looking forward to that here.
So behind me here, we have some of the Supercross techs working away, some of the off-road race team techs working away. These guys are working 20, 30 weeks a year, traveling to all the Supercross, the outdoor nationals. They're coming in here, grinding out the long hours to make sure those bikes are ready to go, safety-wise and mechanically-wise, for those racers at the highest level. So as you can see, all these bays look nearly identical. We built it that way so that every mechanic has plenty of room to work on the bike. They're not getting crowded. They're all built with full workbenches, full toolboxes, and the mechanics go through and customize them as necessary to help facilitate what they do in their most efficient way possible. So as you'll notice here, we have these really great large toolboxes. They can house hundreds and hundreds of tools. We have these great workbenches to put things away and have them ready to use right away without wasting any time. Everything's plumbed for air. It's all super clean. It's just a great environment to work in. This is what it looks like when you have multiple bikes torn down at a time, which is sometimes necessary. So this part of the shop is basically our working overflow storage, where we have bikes coming and going pretty much daily. We're working on them for demo pods. They're race bikes that are being built. They're bikes that are getting sent up to test out on dealership rides and things like that. So if you'll notice behind me here on all the walls, we got all these great bikes. Now, this is basically the history of beta championships. It's a really fortunate thing that we're able to maintain the bikes and keep them in these great pristine raced conditions. And we acknowledge the riders by immortalizing them on the walls here at Beta USA. All right, so we're in the warehouse here at Beta USA. We house hundreds of motorcycles here, all the varying models that we sell and offer. That way we have them on hand, ready to ship out to the dealerships when you make that purchase. All right, so we're outside of our factory Supercross semi. We have two of these bad boys. One of them's on the East Coast for the GNCC team. One of them's out here with us in Paso Robles for the Supercross team. They're in the midst of getting this thing ready for the 2026 season right now. So it's all cleaned up, getting prepped and stocked full of parts and ready to rock and roll.
Well, we have two of them. We have this one here that we run the Supercross series with, and the SMX series at the end. And then we have one back east that we do all the GNCCs with. It's super important because everything we need to compete is in this truck. Parts, tools, extra goggles and gear, and the riders have a lounge they can be in, and it's very important. So when you go to the race, you have everything you have right there. And it's really important that you're prepared at every race, because you can't show up at a race and be missing a part, so to speak. So every mechanic has their own locker and every place to keep their items, and plenty of tools and everything.
Thank you for joining us on the tour here at the headquarters of Beta USA in Paso Robles, California. For more information, visit your local Beta dealer or visit betausa.com.